Have you ever wandered through a forest, meadow, or along a riverbank and unknowingly passed by food that once sustained entire communities? Long before supermarkets, imported produce, and neatly arranged grocery shelves, people depended on wild fruits growing naturally around them. These fruits were not rare or unusual, they were everyday staples. Sweet, tangy, nourishing, and deeply tied to the land itself. Today, many of these plants have been forgotten, dismissed as weeds, or simply overlooked. Yet they deserve to be rediscovered, not just for the sake of tradition, but for their resilience, nutritional value, and the opportunity they offer to reconnect with nature. Here are 10 traditional wild fruits once gathered by native foragers that deserve a place once again in our gardens, landscapes, and diets. 1. Is pawpaw. The pawpaw is the largest native fruit in North America, yet it remains one of the continent's most underappreciated treasures. Long before modern food systems and imported fruits, indigenous peoples relied on pawpaws as an essential seasonal food. Although its exterior may appear simple, the inside reveals a soft, custard-like flesh, with a flavor that feels surprisingly tropical, often compared to a mix of banana, mango, melon, and a hint of vanilla. For people living far from tropical regions, pawpaw offered a rare and valuable source of natural sweetness and energy. Pawpaw trees typically grow in fertile forest understories, along rivers and near streams, often forming dense clusters through underground root systems. This made them easy to find and harvest year after year. Native foragers would consume the fruit fresh during late summer and early autumn, a crucial time for gathering food in preparation for winter. In some cases, the pulp was dried or combined with other foods to preserve it for longer periods. Nutritionally, pawpaws are rich in carbohydrates, vitamin C, magnesium, potassium, and antioxidants, making them both filling and highly beneficial. One of the pawpaw's most remarkable qualities is its natural resilience. Unlike many modern fruit trees bred for appearance and transport durability, pawpaws evolved within local ecosystems. They naturally resist many pests and diseases, partly due to compounds in their leaves and bark that deter insects. Their flowers are pollinated not by bees, but by beetles and flies, an ancient ecological relationship that highlights how different they are from conventional crops. Despite all these advantages, pawpaws never became widely commercialized. Their delicate skin bruises easily and the fruit ripens quickly, making it unsuitable for long-distance transportation. As a result, they gradually disappeared from mainstream agriculture, not because they lack value, but because they don't align with industrial farming systems. Rediscovering pawpaws today reminds us that some of the best foods are local, resilient, and deeply connected to the environment. Bringing them back into home gardens and food forests helps revive a forgotten abundance that has been there all along. 2. Serviceberry berries, also known as Juneberries, shadbush, or Saskatoon berries, were once among the most important wild fruits for indigenous communities across North America. These small blue-purple berries resemble blueberries, but often have a richer and more complex flavor, with subtle hints of almond or apple due to their tiny edible seeds. They ripen early in the summer, often becoming one of the first sweet fruits available after winter, making them especially valuable for foragers. Indigenous people harvested service berries in large quantities. They were eaten fresh, dried in the sun to create raisin-like snacks, or combined with dried meat and fat to make pemmican, a high-energy, long-lasting food that could sustain people for months. Nutritionally, service berries are outstanding. They are rich in antioxidants, iron, fiber, vitamin C, and natural sugars, providing both immediate energy and lasting nourishment. Serviceberry trees are also valued for their adaptability and beauty. They thrive in cold climates, tolerate drought, poor soil, and strong winds, and remain productive where other fruit trees struggle. In spring, they produce clusters of delicate white blossoms. In summer, they bear abundant fruit surrounded by lush green leaves, and in autumn, their foliage turns vibrant shades of red, orange, and gold. Few plants offer such year-round interest and usefulness. As agriculture shifted toward large-scale monocultures and imported fruits, serviceberries gradually disappeared from everyday food systems and became primarily ornamental plants. Many people now recognize the tree but are unaware that its fruit is edible or that it once played a crucial role in human survival. And unlike many modern crops, serviceberries require minimal care, no chemical inputs, and coexist naturally with wildlife, supporting birds and pollinators. Bringing service berries back is more than reintroducing a forgotten fruit. It is about restoring a connection to the land. They represent resilience, food security, and harmony with natural ecosystems. In a time when gardeners are searching for sustainable, low-maintenance, and climate-adapted plants, service berries stand as a powerful example of how traditional knowledge still offers valuable solutions today. 3. American persimmon long. Before Asian varieties of persimmons became common in orchards and grocery stores, the American persimmon was one of the most treasured native fruits across much of North America. Found growing wild from the Midwest down to the Southeast, this tree rewarded those who understood its natural timing. When perfectly ripe, American persimmons become one of the sweetest fruits nature has to offer, with a smooth, custard-like texture and a flavor often compared to honey, dates, caramel, and rich brown sugar combined. For native foragers, timing was essential. Unripe persimmons are famously astringent, creating an intense, dry, puckering sensation in the mouth. However, once fully ripened, often after the first autumn frosts, the fruit softens, darkens, and develops an incredible sweetness. This transformation made the wait worthwhile. Ripe persimmons were eaten fresh, mashed into thick pulp, used in breads and desserts, or dried and stored for later use during colder months. Beyond their flavor, American persimmons were highly valued for their dependability. These trees are exceptionally hardy, capable of withstanding drought, poor or rocky soils, heat, and neglect far better than most cultivated fruit trees. Once established, they require very little care and can live for generations, producing abundant harvests year after year. Their deep root systems allow them to survive in environments where more delicate fruit trees like apples, peaches, or pears would struggle. Ecologically, the American persimmon is just as important. Its fruit provides food for a wide range of wildlife, including deer, raccoons, foxes, birds, and even turtles. Its flowers support native pollinators, and its wood has historically been used to make tools, golf club heads, and other durable items. Despite all these advantages, the fruit gradually fell out of favor because it does not store or transport well and ripens unevenly. Traits that don't align with modern industrial agriculture, but make it ideal for home growers and foragers. Today, the American persimmon stands as a reminder that some of the richest and sweetest food sources are not found in stores, but quietly growing along forest edges, roadsides, and old fields, waiting for those willing to understand and appreciate them. 4. Beach plum. Along the rugged, windswept coastlines of the northeastern United States, nestled within sandy dunes and coastal thickets, grows a native fruit that is often overlooked: the beach plum. For indigenous coastal communities, this hardy shrub was an important seasonal food, when offering both nourishment and variety in environments where traditional farming was often difficult. Beach plums are small, round fruits that range in color from deep purple to nearly black when ripe, often coated with a soft, dusty blue bloom. Their flavor is bold and distinctive, sharply tart yet rich and complex. While they can be eaten fresh by those who enjoy strong flavors, they are especially valued when cooked. Native foragers and early settlers discovered that beach plums make outstanding jams, jellies, sauces, and syrups, delivering a depth of flavor far beyond that of cultivated plums. What makes beach plums particularly remarkable is the harsh environment in which they thrive. These shrubs grow in sandy, nutrient-poor soils exposed to salt spray and strong coastal winds. They are naturally tolerant of salt, resistant to drought, and extremely resilient. Their extensive root systems help stabilize dunes and prevent erosion, making them valuable not only as a food source, but also as protectors of delicate coastal ecosystems. Historically, beach plums were harvested in abundance, and entire regional food traditions developed around them. However, as coastal development expanded and natural habitats were cleared, their populations declined, and they gradually faded from common awareness. Unlike commercial plum varieties, beach plums ripen unevenly and vary in size and taste, making them unsuitable for industrial agriculture but perfectly suited for small-scale harvesting and home use. In today's changing climate, beach plums may be more relevant than ever. Rising sea levels, increasing storms, and salty soils challenge conventional crops. Yet beach plums continue to thrive under exactly these conditions. They offer a resilient, edible solution for coastal environments, producing food where little else can survive. Reviving beach plums is not just about bringing back a forgotten fruit. It's about reconnecting with landscapes that once provided sustainable nourishment, learning from nature's resilience, and recognizing the value of plants that require very little yet give so much. 5. Choke cherry. Despite its somewhat unappealing name, choke cherry was one of the most essential and widely used wild fruits among Native American tribes across North America. Long before cultivated orchards became common, choke cherry trees provided a dependable and abundant source of food in regions where few other fruit crops could thrive. The fruits are small and dark, ranging from deep red to nearly black, and grow in dense clusters that can be harvested in large quantities when ripe. When eaten raw, choke cherries are extremely tart and astringent, often causing an immediate puckering sensation. However, indigenous foragers recognized that this intensity could be transformed into something valuable. When cooked, dried, or fermented, the fruit changes dramatically. Heat reduces the harsh tannins, revealing rich, deep flavors reminiscent of wine, along with subtle almond-like notes from the pits. Traditionally, the fruits were crushed whole, including skins, flesh, and pits, and then dried into compact cakes. These cakes were highly nutritious, long-lasting, and could be stored for months or even years. Choke cherry played a crucial role in the preparation of pemmican, a nutrient-dense survival food made from dried meat, fat, and fruit. The addition of choke cherry provided acidity, flavor, and natural preservation, creating a perfectly balanced food source for long journeys and harsh winters. This highlights how important choke cherry was, not just as a food, but as a foundation of survival. Ecologically, choke cherry is extremely resilient. It grows across a wide range of environments, from open plains and river valleys to foothills and mountainous regions. It can withstand severe cold, drought, poor soils, and strong winds, making it one of the toughest fruit-bearing plants in North America. While modern tastes may overlook its bold flavor, choke cherry represents something increasingly rare, a plant with deep cultural significance, exceptional resilience, and a proven role in sustainable food systems. Rediscovering choke cherry means reconnecting with a plant that reliably nourished people for thousands of years, a reminder of the strength and value of traditional food sources. 6. Buffalo berry. Buffalo berry is another remarkable yet largely forgotten native fruit that once held an important place in indigenous diets, particularly across the harsh, dry landscapes of the Great Plains and northern regions. These small, vibrant red berries grow on thorny shrubs that are perfectly adapted to environments where few other fruit-bearing plants can survive. Dry soils, intense sunlight, strong winds, and minimal rainfall. In landscapes that appear barren and lifeless, buffalo berry quietly produces nourishment. For indigenous foragers, buffalo berries were highly valued not only for their nutritional content, but also for their versatility. They are exceptionally rich in vitamin C, making them a vital source of protection against illness, especially during long winters when fresh foods were scarce. While the berries can be eaten fresh once fully ripened, they were more often processed to reduce their bitterness and extend their usability. Drying allowed them to be stored for long periods, while cooking transformed their sharp taste into something deeper and more enjoyable. One of the most unique traditional uses of buffalo berry is the preparation of a dish often referred to as Indian ice cream. When ripe berries are vigorously whipped with water, they form a thick, airy pink foam, almost like a natural mousse. This effect is due to compounds within the berries that act as natural foaming agents. When sweetened with other fruits or honey, this dish became both nourishing and celebratory, reflecting a deep understanding of the plant's natural properties. Beyond its role as food, buffalo berry also contributes to the health of the land. It is a nitrogen-fixing plant, meaning it enriches poor soils by naturally adding nitrogen, which benefits surrounding vegetation. In this way, it serves not only as a food source, but also as a regenerative species that improves ecosystems while sustaining human life. In today's world, where soil degradation, water scarcity, and extreme climates are increasingly common, buffalo berry stands out as a powerful yet overlooked solution. It requires minimal care, thrives where many modern crops fail, and supports both people and the environment, and carries generations of traditional ecological knowledge. Reintroducing buffalo berry into modern food systems is not just about rediscovering a fruit. It's about rethinking sustainability, resilience, and our relationship with the land. 7. Mayhaw native to the southeastern United States. The mayhaw is a small and often underappreciated tree that once played a central role in seasonal foraging traditions. It naturally grows in wetlands, floodplains, and along slow-moving rivers and bayous, environments where many fruit trees struggle or fail to survive. In early spring, just as winter food supplies were running low, mayhaw fruits ripened, offering a timely source of nutrition and flavor. The fruits themselves are small, round, and typically bright red when ripe, though some varieties may appear orange or yellow. When eaten fresh, they have a sharp, tart flavor that can make your mouth pucker. This intensity is precisely what made them so valuable. Their natural acidity made them ideal for preservation. Indigenous peoples and early settlers transformed mayhaws into jellies, syrups, sauces, and even medicinal tonics, believed to aid digestion and overall health. Mayhaw jelly in particular became well known for its clear, jewel-like appearance and bright, refreshing taste, often described as the essence of spring captured in a jar. In addition to their flavor, mayhaw trees were prized for their reliability. They are highly tolerant of flooding, heavy clay soils, and unpredictable growing conditions. While many modern fruit trees require well-drained soil and careful maintenance, mayhaws thrive in places that gardeners often consider challenging. They bloom early in the season, providing one of the first sources of nectar for pollinators when few other plants are flowering. Today, mayhaws remain largely a regional specialty, primarily known in parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and eastern Texas. Modern agriculture has largely overlooked them in favor of fruits that store and transport well. However, in a world increasingly affected by climate change and unpredictable weather, the mayhaw's ability to thrive in wet and flood-prone environments makes it more relevant than ever. Reviving this fruit is not just about preserving tradition. It is about rediscovering a resilient, well-adapted food source that has been hiding in plain sight. 8. Elderberry. Elderberry is one of the most powerful and culturally significant native fruits ever gathered, yet over time it has quietly faded from everyday use. Indigenous communities across North America relied heavily on elderberries, not only as a food source but also as a key component of traditional medicine. The deep purple berries were never eaten raw. Instead, they were carefully prepared into syrups, wines, preserves, and medicinal extracts. The creamy white flowers were equally valuable, often brewed into teas or fermented into refreshing beverages. What made elderberry especially important was its strong medicinal value. Long before modern science confirmed its benefits, foragers understood that elderberries supported the immune system, particularly during cold and flu seasons. Today, much research supports this traditional knowledge, showing that elderberries are rich in antioxidants, flavonoids, and antiviral compounds that help the body combat infections and reduce inflammation. In many households, elderberry syrup became a trusted remedy passed down through generations. From a cultivation perspective, elderberry is extremely adaptable and easy to grow. These shrubs grow quickly, spread readily, and tolerate a wide range of conditions, from moist soils to drier edges and from full sunlight to partial shade. They do not require perfect soil or constant care, yet they consistently produce abundant clusters of berries year after year. Even neglected plants can yield generously, making elderberry one of the most reliable and productive fruits available. Elderberries also play a significant role in supporting ecosystems. Their flowers attract pollinators, their berries feed birds and wildlife, and their dense growth helps stabilize soil along waterways and slopes. Traditionally, elderberry was never seen as just a fruit. It was part of a larger, balanced system that supported both people and the environment. Although elderberry has begun to regain attention in modern times through supplements and herbal products, it has not yet returned to its former place as a common household staple. Many people purchase elderberry products without realizing how simple it is to grow and prepare at home. Bringing elderberry back into everyday use means reconnecting with a plant that represents resilience, independence, and the deep knowledge of traditional foraging practices. Together, mayhaw and elderberry remind us that some of the most valuable and powerful foods are not found in distant markets or supermarket shelves, but in the landscapes that have quietly sustained people for generations, waiting to be rediscovered once again.